What's up to all my people, and welcome to Stoniecast number 125, Season 4, Episode 23 of Thoughts and Hunches, making money in bunches and sucker punches. It's your boy Stony coming right back at you for the 125th time, and I'd like to welcome all of my fellow hoodlums, scumbags, lowlife, shady characters, anybody named Phil Mickelson, altar boys with unhealthy relationships with their priests, hustlers, foul-mouthed raging alcoholics, cheats, friends and family of the gooch, fienders with abusive language, and degenerates. I mean, let's face it, anybody with a massive gambling problem. If you're new to the show, that means you probably fit into at least one of those categories, Cruz. So welcome, because you're one of us. One of us, gooba gobble, one of us. We accepted one of us. Sorry. Sometimes I get carried away, right? Hey, make sure you hit the subscribe button right down here in the lower right-hand corner. That way you can get notified every time I put out a new video. To spread the word's very easy. Just tell other scumbags and degenerates that you know to go to YouTube and enter Thoughts and Hunches in the search bar. That'll take you to my page so you can get dialed in to everything that I give you. And if you subscribe to it, you'll get notified. And it makes the life easier. Also, if you're new to the show and you don't know what's what with this channel, it's college and football, pro football winners, MLB playoff winners, and college basketball winners. I give you my picks to get you to the window with a ticket to cash. The books, they don't expect a guy like me to come out and deliver this many winners. I'm an outlier and I'm a disruptor. I'm like the Beastie Boys. Step into the party, disrupt the whole scene. It's what I do. Now, I go to the mattresses for you, and I get the info for you every single week. This is the real deal, and there is no practice. We ain't talking about the game. We talking about practice, man. No, not the game, but talking about practice. Still one of the greatest press conferences ever, along with Bob Knight's game face discussion. Game face? Jim Mora's playoffs? And Herm Edwards, you play to win the game. And today, it actually happened today, and I think it was 20 years ago? I don't remember what it couldn't have been 30 years ago. It was 20 years ago when, at the Pro Bowl, when Peyton Manning famously said, here we are talking about our idiot kicker. I'm about to throw a touchdown to Jerry Rice, and we're talking about our idiot kicker. That's another classic one. Now, before I get to the picks, I have a few thoughts and programming notes as usual. I'm going to start with a very polarizing topic tonight, and her name is Taylor Swift. I'm going to reiterate what I said months ago before she started dating Travis Kelce. At the time, I complained about Kelce, who I referred to as a media whore, because he was everywhere. Commercials, podcasts, guest spots, even screaming, you gotta fight for your right to party at both last year's Super Bowl and the ensuing parade. I mean, as a Beastie Boy fan, it's really kind of, come on, really? You're going to take probably arguably their worst song and forget it. It's Travis Kelce. What are you going to do? You name it, the guy was everywhere, plain and simple. I've never seen anyone so desperate for attention than that guy. Then he started dating probably the most famous woman on the planet. Here's what got me annoyed. The amount of venom that's been spewed toward her, with the most common complaint from football fans, quote, football fans, being, I tune in to watch football, not Taylor Swift. Really? My issue with that statement is that an NFL broadcast usually lasts about 4 hours from pre to post game. Taylor's average screen time is 19 seconds. Yeah. University of Texas fans who love seeing Matthew McConaughey. Laker fans who love seeing Jack, no last name needed. For NBA fans that love to see Drake. Apparently those were all okay, right? Even Eminem at Detroit Lions games. But Taylor Swift has become a lightning rod when she's not the one who craves the attention. She's the most famous woman alive, so the attention is going to be on her no matter where she goes. Her legion of Swifties are all over social media, right? And they make her the story. But don't confuse that with NFL fans who are sick and tired of her. Deal with it, people, because it's only going to get worse for the next week through Super Sunday. My advice to the haters is to direct your hate at her boyfriend, who is on probably every single commercial right now with his phony self, whoring himself from any cause that's willing to pay for his Rolls Royce. Yeah, he drives a Rolls. Yeah, that's not going to attract any attention either. Taylor Swift, when she drives a pickup truck. It's amazing. Next up is another one of my favorite topics, and that's the NBA. Now, anyone who watches this podcast knows that I do not watch or follow the NBA, but I do watch SportsCenter every night before and sometimes in bed. That's where I'm force-fed the NBA. My question is, what happened to the defense? Why doesn't anybody play defense in the NBA anymore? Scoring is at an all-time record high because teams are employing the Olé defense. Every regular season game is turned into the NBA All-Star game with nobody even attempting to play defense. Last week alone, 4 players scored at least 60 points in a game, with 2 of them doing it on the same night and 1 scoring 71 points. This is absolutely out of control. The way the game is played now, a lot like the NFL, all the rules are in place to promote scoring while defense takes a back seat. Flopping is at an all-time high. You can't get anywhere near LeBron without a whistle. Just like quarterbacks in the NFL. You go near Patrick Mahomes, but there's 15 of them. About 20 years ago in the early 2000s, I loved watching San Antonio and Detroit fight for the title with the average score landing on about 160 per night. Nowadays, it's 250 plus. You don't believe me? Just look at the NBA totals for tonight or tomorrow. I remember 2 years ago when my UCLA Bruins were in the Sweet 16 and I heard their head coach, Mick Cronin, say after one of the games to the reporters that his players will be more prepared for the NBA because they play defense, adding that they don't play defense at the next level. Now, the proof is in the pudding. If you're NBA fans, and I know some of you are, watch the Miami Heat. I don't, but watch the Miami Heat and check out rookie Jaime Jaquez. He's a former Bruin who works his ass off to defend because, as John Wooden used to say, defense is just another word for effort. If you're not playing defense, you're not trying. Now, I know that I'm in the minority here. I prefer defensive beatdowns in all sports. I love 85 to 81 NBA games, 65 to 60 college hoops games, 13 to 9 NFL games, and 2 to 1 MLB games. What are we going to see in the Super Bowl next week? Well, you're going to have to tune in to Stoniecast 126 next Friday to find out. Before I get to the numbers from last week, I'm going to go off script here just for a minute. I just wanted to say rest in peace to Carl Weathers. Apollo Creed passed on today. Apollo, wow. Happy Gilmore, Apollo Creed, I mean, the movies, Predator, and a former linebacker for the Oakland Raiders back in the day. Yeah, but here's my thing. 2 of my favorite sports are in serious trouble. College football and the PGA Tour for different reasons. PGA Tour allowed Live Golf to come in and ruin their tour. It's ruined now. It's broken. And they're doing everything in their power to fix it. My brother was at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, which is going on this weekend in Monterey. And he said that one night they got kicked out of the ale house, the tap room, because they shut down Pebble Beach for some big party that the PGA Tour was throwing for Rory McIlroy. Why? Because Rory McIlroy's pissed that all of his fellow European Ryder Cuppers have jumped ship from the PGA, and they're all in Live Golf now. And for all that shit he was talking last year and 2 years ago about Live Golf, and he was one of the guys waving the flag for the PGA Tour. Notice how he shut his mouth lately and he's starting to say that Liv has done a lot of good things. Does that mean he's going? PGA Tour is doing everything in their power to make sure he stays. That's terrifying. College football, I said, is in serious trouble. Like I said it would be 3 years ago when they started allowing NIL deals. It's a total mess. College football head coaches are leaving and going to the NFL for coordinator jobs. And it's not because, well, maybe they think someday they could be a head coach. No. They're leaving because the players are making more money than they are. It's absolutely ridiculous. It has ruined the sport, and it's only going to get worse. When I heard that Deion Sanders, Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, right, must be the money, Deion, had his 2 sons buy him a house. Are you kidding me? Really? Because his sons can afford it. His son drives a Rolls Royce, too. Shakur. Unbelievable. Unreal. It's only going to get worse. So I'm just warning you people. I don't know what's going to happen. The Big Ten and the SEC commissioners are meeting right now. They're talking about getting out of college football. Starting their own, mega, I don't know. It's bad. It's really bad. Anyway, enough of the bad news. As for the week that was last week, NFL Championship Sunday was good to us as I went 3-1 with only a last-second backdoor cover by the Lions costing me a perfect 4-0 day. As far as college hoops, I was staring at 35-30 heading into Sunday, which is but closed with a 6-2-1 on Sunday and a 2-0 on Monday to finish the week with a very good numbers. Here are those numbers. Last week overall, 46 wins, 33 losses, 2 pushes, 58.23%. Solid week all in all after a struggle through the first few days of hoops, kind of like this week. NFL playoffs for the season, 13-10-1. 56.52%. With only 1 game left this season, it's time to close strong. I will have prop bets for you next week, by the way, along with my Super Bowl pick. NCAA hoops on the season, 454 wins, 338 losses, 11 pushes, 57.32%. Numbers are nice, but 58 is where I want to be in March. So overall, every pick that I've given you in all 22 Stoniecast so far, 962 wins, 692 losses, 22 pushes, 58.16%. The goal is still 59. I mean, please remember that all these picks are 100% free. So for all the touts that give you 75 to 80% winners, come on. We all know that you're full of shit. Plus, you're charging for these picks. With me, just come to YouTube every week and I'll drop my plays on you for free. You can also follow me on X at Stony Woods, STONIE Woods. The last few days in college hoops, I've been giving you picks in the comments section of Stoniecast 124. And heading into today's games, which are being played right now, I'm watching Creighton and Butler right now, and what's a good ball game. I'm 18-15 heading into today's game. So, I mean, it ain't good, but it's better than bad. College hoops weeks are made, though, on Saturday. We all know this. And from here through March, college hoops will own Saturdays. So let's see what's in store for tomorrow, which features a few matchups where both teams are in the top 10. 89-88 Butler, by the way. I got Butler plus the point, so I'm looking pretty good. Late second half. Let's get it all started. Noon Eastern on FS1 in Bloomington, where Indiana's a 5.5-point home favorite over Penn State. Both teams were struggling until they bounced back with wins this week. But at Assembly Hall, I got to roll with the Hoosiers and lay the number at 5 at home. IU minus 5.5. Excuse me. All right, noon Eastern on ESPNU in Stoniecast. We got a matchup between two of Philly's Big Five, where St. Joseph's is a 4.5-point road chalk at LaSalle. All five of these schools play each other during the season, and my rule always has been that you should always take the dog, regardless of what the number is. So with that in mind, give me LaSalle at home catching 4.5. Noon Eastern on ESPN2 in Colin Baton Rouge in the SEC. LSU's a 5.5-point home favorite versus Arkansas, and this one's a no-brainer for me. So I'm going to take the road dog here with Arkansas and even sprinkle a little something on the Hogs on the money line. Excuse me, got a little cough going here. All right. Noon Eastern on ESPN and the ACC. Miami, Florida's 2.5-point favorite over Virginia Tech. The Canes have been struggling lately, having not covered in 6 straight. Where Va Tech is feeling themselves lately, so I'll take the Hokies here on the road, plus the points and another sprinkle on the money line. Remember, if you're taking a dog, if I'm telling you to take a dog at plus 4.5 or less, sprinkle me. Shout out Earl Stevens, E40, Vallejo, what y'all know about the 707. Sprinkle me, a little sprinkling. Noon Eastern on Big Fox at Madison Square Garden in NYC. Top-ranked Connecticut comes in as 4-point road favorites at St. John's. UConn is the number 1 team in the nation, and they're the defending champs, and they're playing like it right now. But something tells me that they're ripe for an upset in this spot on the road at the world's most famous arena. Give me St. John's and the points with a sprinkle. 1 Eastern on SEC Network in Athens. Georgia's a 1.5-point home chalk versus South Carolina. Georgia's red hot at home, but South Carolina's coming off a couple huge wins, and at 18-3 and still unranked, feels disrespected. They're in trouble here, though. Against Georgia on the road, give me the dogs at home. 2 Eastern on ESPN and the ACC. Clemson is a 4.5-point home favorite over Virginia. Clemson's heating up, but they're gonna get got here, plain and simple. I like the Cavs on the road, plus 4.5 with the sprinkle. 3 Eastern on the Big Ten Network in Stoniecast. Northwestern and Minnesota are a pick'em. Yeah, Northwestern's hot right now, but Minnie is getting things together, and they're a tough out at home. I'll take Minnesota at home as a pick. 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2 in Fort Worth. 25th ranked TCU is a 4-point home favorite versus Texas. Yeah, TCU, Texas, Baylor, Texas Tech are all going to be dancing next month, making the state of Texas the best in the country right now. Jamie Dixon has TCU playing very well, so I like the Frogs here at home laying the 4.5. Butler leads by 4, by the way. St. Bonaventure covered for me, too. It's already starting to look like a good day. Dayton's won 15 of their last 16. They won tonight, but I took the Bonnies and the points. 3:30 Eastern in the Mountain West on Big Fox. San Diego State's a 4.5-point home favorite over 17th ranked Utah State. And as good as Utah State has been this season at 19-2, San Diego State at home is the play here. SDSU minus 4.5. I've got to linger. That's better. 4 p.m. on Eastern on ESPN in the Big 12. The game of the day. Plain and simple, Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence. People argue and say there's another game coming up that's the game of the day. No, the game of the day is at Allen Fieldhouse. 4th-ranked Houston is a 2.5-point road favorite at number 8 Kansas. 2 top-notch teams from the same conference now that Houston is in the Big 12, where both teams play physical defense. So I'm expecting a sheer slugfest. I just can't see Kansas getting points at home. Ever. Give me the Jayhawks catching 2.5. Sprinkle. 4 Eastern on ESPN2 in College Station, Texas A&M, 2.5-point home favorite over Florida in the SEC. Gators are the play here, getting the points, money line, sprinkle. 5 Eastern on Pac-12 Network in Salt Lake Stony. Utah is a 2-point home favorite versus Colorado. I like the way the Buffaloes are going right now, but Salt Lake is a different beast. Give me the Utes at home as the short favorite. 5:30 Eastern on Big Fox in East Lansing. Michigan State is a 7-point home favorite against Maryland. This one's a classic middle for me. Michigan State wins, but Maryland covers. Give me the Terps and the 7. 6 Eastern on SEC Network at the Grove in Oxford. 16th ranked Auburn's a 4.5-point road favorite at Ole Miss. Bruce Pearl has Auburn ready to make a run this season, but Ole Miss is cruising along these days, so I like the Rebels at home catching 4.5 with a sprinkle. 6:30 Eastern on ESPN in Chapel Hill. This is just ESPN's wet dream. Third ranked North Carolina is a 4.5-point home chalk over number 7 Duke. ESPN compares Duke Carolina to the Yankees Red Sox, and they just overdo it and beat it into the ground. It's just too much. Carolina's a well-deserved number 3, but they get taken out here by Duke on the road plus 4.5. Another solid Big 12 matchup is at 8 Eastern on ESPN2 in Waco, where 18th ranked Baylor is a short 3-point home favorite over number 12 Iowa State. These are two very dangerous teams who may not win the Big 12, but will definitely have a say in who does. I like the Cyclones, but Baylor at home is the play. Give me the Bears, lay the 3. 8:30 Eastern on ESPN in Lexington. The SEC shows that they also have 2 top 10 teams that can get after it, as 5th-ranked Tennessee is a 1.5-point road favorite at number 10 Kentucky. Reed Shepherd right now, man, he's come alive for Kentucky. He's playing like a monster. Coach Cal has his Wildcats looking good. But Dalton Connect, I told you about him last couple weeks. If you're not watching UT, you're missing out. This man is a scoring machine. He's easily the best transfer this year. Transferred in, and he's just tearing it up. He leads the SEC in scoring. He's just clearly playing on another level. Give me Tennessee here as the short favorite on the road at Rupp Arena. Don't hear that very often. 9 Eastern on the Pac-12 Network in Seattle. The Hoops version of the Apple Cup goes with Washington and Washington State as a pick'em, which makes sense. I like the Huskies at home, but Wazoo's just a better team, so I'll take the Cougars on the road. 10 Eastern on ESPN2 at Pauley Pavilion in Westwood. Oregon is a short 2.5-point road favorite at UCLA. My Bruins have played better recently, but they're just outgunned here. The Quack Attack is playing well, so as much as it pains me to say it, give me Oregon as the road favorite. And this week's Degenerate Special is at 10:30 Eastern on ESPN in Spokane, where Gonzaga is a 4.5-point home favorite over St. Mary's in the first of what is usually 3 meetings between these two, when you take into account the West Coast Conference Tournament Championship, where they'll meet like they always do. This is a really good matchup here, where St. Mary's has a shot to take out Gonzaga at the Kennel, which nobody seems to be able to do over the last 30 years. Gonzaga wins this one, close one, but St. Mary's gets the cover to close out the night with a sprinkle. 21 plays are going to have to do it for you, and that should be plenty. So let's go big this week with no NFL until the big game next Sunday, right? Now remember, next podcast, I will have all kinds of prop plays for Super Sunday. So yes, day before the Super Bowl is very busy for college basketball. And I'll have the picks for Super Sunday as well as all the prop bets that you can sneeze at. So as a reminder, though, you got to check back into the comments section of this video for college hoops picks starting on Sunday and rolling all the way into Stoniecast 126 next Friday night, right around the same time. So there's still a lot of tickets out there waiting to cash. So until then, just remember that if you want to win big, you got to bet big. You can't go broke taking a profit. Scared money don't make money. Now for me, the action is the juice. There's money on the streets, it can't be ignored. And finally, good luck to you. Miss you, Gooch, my brother.